Hello.
What's up, everybody?
Hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, ladies and gentlemen. It's Lentelman for everyone.
JD's and Littleman?
No, yeah, JG Wentworth. Who?
What?
Only if you need a structured settlement, Shannon.
I may. I may.
Cash now.
Oh, that's right. It's 877 cash now. I said .com. Whatever.
Right.
I got confused.
Well, we do have someone that's joining up for the first time. Who needs cash every single day, right, Sam?
Yes, sir.
So we have a really special guest, Sam from Kingdom Currency, who's now I'm probably not giving this enough credit than I should. Sam, do you want to remind everyone what your kind of like status is on eBay and your store and all that?
I'm ranked #1 in errors, and I was ranked #2 in Federal Reserve notes, but once I got banned, I dropped down to about rank 50 out of 16,000. So it's still up there, but not as high as I was. But right now, currently, I still am ranked #1 on selling errors on eBay. But yeah, I run an eBay store called Kingdom Currency where I list $1 bills and other numismatic material, but mostly $1 bills. And I sell a lot of fancy serial numbers, birthday notes, error notes, all of the above, you name it, star notes, stuff like that.
All right. Well,
pretty exciting.
Wait, you got banned from selling in Federal Reserve? How did that happen?
Oh, no, I got banned from the banks. And once I got banned, the inventory, I didn't have as much, so I couldn't really stay up there. I couldn't compete, because of how the eBay algorithm works. It's based on how much you list.
Yeah. Adam's over there smiling because we have an idea of how much Sam asks for from these banks. I was like, why would they ban him? He seems like such a nice kid and all that. And yeah, well, if he wants to share, he could, but
I probably won't.
The next time I go get $100 in $1 bills, I'm gonna hang my head really low.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, man, I'm really making a difference here.
I used to think so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, it's crazy. So we have Sam this evening, and he's going to talk a little bit about what he sells, what you guys should be on the lookout for. More of a kind of like currency educational type of show today. We do have a few items to talk about that came in through the emails. So yeah, it's a really fantastic show, something a little bit different, and I'm sure that even though he's going to be talking about currency, maybe it's to give you guys a little bit of idea of how to kind of pursue it on your own if you wanted to sell your inventory, whether that's coins, paper money, what have you. But yeah, I'm personally looking forward to it. He's one of the most intelligent sellers in numismatics that I've come across. So he's going to share with that here before long.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just to start, I want to say I started my YouTube channel officially today. I uploaded my first video. So if you guys want to find me on YouTube, I'll do bill searches. I'll talk about, what to look for, stuff like that. It's Kingdom Currency on YouTube. And secondly, if you guys are interested, as I'm talking about, bills and I'm reviewing whatever questions you guys have, I'm starting a Facebook group. It's more a Patreon group where if you guys join, it's about $1 a day. You can come alongside me and I will teach you guys personally how to find, sell, list your numismatic material on eBay and basically do what I'm doing. Because eBay, there's a lot to know, and it definitely helps to have somebody who's gone through it teach you instead of trying to learn to throw the ball yourself. It helps if you have someone, telling you how to write your titles, how to take pictures efficiently, how to do stuff like that. So I'll share more about the group a little bit later. But yeah, if we have any questions about currency, we can get right into that.
Hey guys, do we have anything to add before we allow Sam to kind of take the floor? Any updates or anything like that?
This week is National Coin Week. So if you want to get people interested in the hobby, I always, when it's National Coin Week, I try to get some dateless buffaloes, Indian head cents, V-nickels, kind of worn V-nickels, things that people don't normally find in circulation. I try to get them and change them in at the bank. It's just one way to do it. I've heard people like making little packs together, with like a 3-coin pack and hiding them places and different things. So if you want to know more about National Coin Week, you can go check it out at the American Numismatic Association website, money.org, and it'll tell you all about it. So how you can be involved, and yeah, it's a fun time.
Yeah, and it's if it's like the first time that you've heard about that, it's actually a really cool event. I talked to a few dealer buddies I know local here to Northern California, and that was the first thing that they brought up. Like, hey, are you going to do the National Coin Club Week? And they had thousands of, various coins. They even have silver that they're going to send back out there.
Yeah.
So you just never know what you're going to find out there, but it'd probably be a good next few weeks to do some roll hunting. And aside from that, people are also going to be sending out paper money as well. So I've seen silver certificates go out, and legal tender red seals and things like that. So yeah, something to be on the lookout for. It's a great event. In a way, we're trying to increase the bandwidth of the hobby to a younger audience, to people that actually still spend physical money. So yeah, it's always cool to see this when it does.
I hear there's a Walmart parking lot somewhere too, where you could probably pick up a few dimes.
Right? Philadelphia, yeah.
Rumor has it.
I'm sure there's a lot of errors in that parking lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Parking lot coins now, right?
Right. Heck, yeah.
They're gonna have a little personality to them,
Right.
I don't have.
You don't judge. Sometimes.
Speaking of the American Numismatic Association, we will be giving away at the end of the stream tonight a ANA sponsored gold membership. So stick around for that. I'm really looking forward to Sam's presentation, though. I think it's going to be amazing, and you guys should really think about checking out his Facebook group and his Patreon. So pay attention when he talks about that too. It's going to be amazing. We may be a little involved in that.
Do we put his eBay store in the chat? I don't know if we did that or not.
Yes, it's in the description of our video. Okay. Of tonight's video is his eBay store. So check that out too. So yeah, Sam, if you want, we can go ahead and you can do your thing, and then we'll look at the coins. And then are you planning on sticking around? You can take some questions from the chat afterwards.
Yeah, I'll stick around for that and take some questions. So I guess I'll get started with how I got into currency. This might sound kind of weird, but I actually had a dream one night that I was selling $1 bills. And I completely forgot about it. And one day my cousin was paying me for something, and he gave me like some hundreds, and there were some old hundreds mixed in with the new ones. And I was just sitting there looking down at them. I'm like, I bet these are worth more than face value. And from that, I literally went straight in headlong. I started researching stuff like crazy about all things paper money, looking up how the stuff's made, watching multiple documentaries about how, paper money was made, even watching documentaries about how people counterfeited, paper money, just learning the process of how they created it. And then I started really getting into fancy serial numbers and really bill searching like crazy, going through stuff. And then through trial and error on eBay, I had experience with eBay. I used to sell items from Lowe's, clearance items. So I had the knowledge of how to create a quality listing already on eBay. And I basically paired that with the expertise that I was learning about paper money and currency. And I combined the two because I noticed as I would go on eBay, I was always researching other sellers. And I was noticing that their titles were very poor and photos were very poor. And I'm like, okay, well, I see a great opportunity to get in here. And, you know, with the knowledge that I had gained, basically create a store that would offer quality items at a competitive price and have good photos. You know exactly what you're going to buy and stuff like that. So I started listing, and the first note that I sold, I actually made a mistake on. I sold a 2013 B duplicate series star note for $4 because at that time I didn't know about the errors and stuff like that. But that was my first bill, and once I did that, I was really exciting to know that, you know, okay, there's some fruit of the labor, because I think I had probably like 50 listings up by this point. That was my first sale. And through constantly retweaking and, you know, adding photos, changing lighting, changing angles and stuff, I was able to basically sell a lot more than, you know, just that note. And through learning pricing and what stuff's worth, I've gotten a pretty decent idea of the market in the fancy serial number range, you know, by going from comparable sales to stuff that has sold and stuff like that. I've basically compiled it all into this business of mine, Kingdom Currency. And I love serving the people. I have conversations with people. You know, I'll get messages all the time, and people will show me bills that they have, and I think it's pretty cool. You know, I'll get messages being like, hey, look, I have this note. What's it worth? And I try to answer as quickly as I can. I usually answer every single question on my eBay store. But I think it's really cool. The numismatic community is different than a lot of other communities that I've been in. Like, I'm a drummer. I've been in a lot of like drum forums and stuff. Like, numismatic people are usually really thorough, and they love to collect stuff, and they love to show off their collections, I've noticed. And it's kind of cool because it's cool to say like, hey, you know, I have a note with 6 7s, and like, oh, I have one with like 6 8s, you know, and you compare and you look at conditions, and then you're like, oh, how much is yours worth? Or maybe they'll ask you know how much it's worth. But I just like the community of numismatics a lot, even though I am, you know, decently new to it. Whenever I was younger, I did. So my parents are from Romania. My grandpa used to travel the world as a missionary, so he has a lot of coins from all over the place, like all over the world. Japan, Israel, Austria, you know, Germany, Romania, Spain. And he had this coin collection that he gave to my father, which my father then gave to me. And I remember as a kid, we'd sit down stairs at our house and we'd dump them all out. And we were going through, I don't know what denomination it was, but we were going through these like copper shillings or something. My dad's like, hey, if we can find all the years from like 1950 to 1999, we can sell it as a set and make money. And I thought it was the coolest thing that you could, you know, sell money for more than what it's worth. So I, you know, as a little kid, I did have some, and also I remember the state quarters as a little kid too. I never had any books, but I just thought it was really cool to like find, you know, my state or something like that on the coin. So it's kind of always been a lingering thing in the back of my mind, but it kind of came full circle, you know, basically a couple years ago, whenever I really started getting into it pretty hard. So with fancy serial numbers is my main category that I look for the most and sell the most. There's a lot with that comes to fancy serial numbers. I always found a So like if you look up fancy serial numbers on YouTube, you're gonna get like the basic, you know, like solids. People are gonna talk about repeaters. They're gonna talk about radars. They're gonna talk about low serial numbers. They're gonna talk about high serial numbers, stuff like quad doubles, ladders. You know, they're gonna talk about like the main stuff. And I kind of had like always these thoughts in my mind. I'm like, okay, I know that 8 of a kind, a solid, that's going to be worth a lot of money because in a 96 million note run, in the modern runs, there's only going to be 8 of those, you know, because they only print to 96 million per run these days because of how they print the sheets. I think they're 32 by 32 sheets right now, I believe.
Yeah, they're 32 subject note sheets, and
yeah.
I think they just integrated a 50 note sheet.
Yeah, they're coming back with 50s.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but so on the solids, I was looking at them. I'm like, okay, I understand why that's rare because it's 8, you know, out of 96 million. They're scarce. But then I started thinking, I'm like, well, what about 7 of a kinds? You know, I know people talk about seven of a kinds. Those are rare too, you know, because I think there's like 72 of them or something like that. But then I kept going down. I'm like, well, what about 6 of a kinds? Those are rare too. You know, they're more rare than just your average, you know, note that has like 1 pair in it and maybe a triple and it's all scattered. And so I kind of started to think, I'm like, I feel like these also have value too. You know, they're scarce. They're not as scarce as the solid, but something like a 6 of a kind, that's cool. It has aesthetic value. You know, as you're looking in the notes, it kind of pops out to you if you have any kind of eye training at all with serial numbers. And so basically what I did is as I was bill searching through experimentation, I started keeping stuff that I thought was cool. And I learned that the fancy serial number, you know, term is a lot more broad than what the original main like 8 to 10 serial, like fancy serial number considerations are. There's a lot more than just that because you have people in groups like Liar's Poker. I've had people come to my store saying, I play Liar's Poker. You know, he bought like a bunch of 6 of a kind notes from me, you know? So there's all kinds of things that like, I feel like a lot of people haven't really thought about or have overlooked, like in the fancy serial number category that should not be overlooked because they're opportunities to sell your stuff for more than face value. So through trial and error, I have come to put together a list. It's a list. I call it the fancy serial number master list. It is a list of everything that I have been able to sell. And I calculated the statistical odds. Like we'll take, for example, a trinary. Okay. Get my calculator out.
Does everybody know what a trinary serial number is?
So a trinary is whenever you have in the serial number only 3 numbers. Let me see if I can get one really quick. I'm sure I have one laying around here somewhere. Here's a good example. So we have 888s, 000s, 4, and an 8. This is a trinary. There's only 3 numbers in the serial number. So there is a set amount of trinaries in a 96 million note run. And the way to calculate this, make sure I don't get my math wrong, I believe it's 8 to the 3rd power. Nope, that's wrong. Hold on.
Yeah, Sam, if you'll excuse us, we're just in awe on how analytical you are about the whole process of figuring this out. And
sorry, what?
I don't think a lot of people actually appreciate just kind of like the number crunching you've been doing to help illustrate the scarcity of some of these notes. And people take for granted, oh yeah, it's just a note that I spent on a cup of coffee in the morning, you know?
Yeah.
So
because the way I came at it is like, so I was like with when I was younger, I collected Pokemon cards, stuff like that. And for me, the fun aspect of it was that you could actually play and play the card. Like there was statistics on them, they had damage, they had health, there was cool colors, and there was like a different series, all basically talking about how powerful and rare it was. And I was thinking about like currency, and I'm like, well, there has to be something, because I noticed like some of currency collecting, I guess the only way I can really put it is it's almost, I mean, it's emotional, like people will collect it emotionally, meaning although something might, like we'll take a Trinary that had triple ones, triple twos, and pair threes. That's not as rare as something like, let me think of a good comparison, like 7 of a kinds or something like that. But the aesthetic of it could make it sell for more, if you get what I'm saying, because it looks appealing.
It's like an order, in a way, in order, kind of like a step up ladder, appearance.
And I always notice that, like, I'll have notes that are more rare statistically than other notes, but they won't sell for as much as something with like just 7s on it or 8s, because there's cultures that consider 7s and 8s lucky. And even in America, like, I was checking somebody out at a store once, and their total came out to like something $7.77. And he goes, "Oh, lucky 7s. Maybe I should go play the Powerball today." And it's just stuff like that, as you observe it, it's like, people have these kind of subconscious, just the way that we grew up, stuff's programmed into us, and it causes us to view the world in a certain lens, certain aspect. And that influences the way that we live, the way that we buy things, so, the way that we dress, all this stuff. And it translates into currency collecting too. Maybe your grandpa was born in or died in 1977, so you like to collect notes from the series 1977. There's all kinds of stuff like that. So let me get back to, there is Trinaries. There are 681,600 of them in a 96 million note run. Now that's encompassing all Trinaries. To go down even deeper, there's a thing that I call true trinary. It's kind of like true binary, how true binary notes are only 0s and 1s. There are only 256 true binary notes in a 96 million note run. Where now true trinaries, only notes with 0s, 1s, and 2s, there are only 6,561 of those. You see? So that 6,561 is included in the 681,600 trinary notes, but it's like a sub-series, Binary notes, I believe there's 10,000. There's about 10,000 binary notes, 10,560 in a 96 million note run. So I started looking at the statistical odds, and I'm like, I feel that there should be basically fancy serial numbers. I basically price them based on their rarity and aesthetic appeal too, because it would be foolish to not look at that, because that's very important. Something like this note right here, this trinary is aesthetically appealing. If this 8 right here was touching these 8s, it'd be even more aesthetically appealing. But this one is really nice. This one I would sell for more money, and it's 8s too, which is one of those nice numbers. I could sell this trinary more than I could sell. Let me see if I can find another one. Here. This one. 699116661. They're both trinaries, but this one right here has more aesthetic appeal. The number 8's better than the number 6, and also has 0s in there. People also like 0s. So like basically through trial and error and experience, you're going to learn what people like. You're going to learn a lot of little tricks and a lot of little, you know, things about the market, if you will. And
Isn't
how
that
people
one a
play.
rotator though too?
So the one with the ones, it depends. Some people would consider this a rotator or an ambergram or a flipper. That is
Okay.
a note that you can read, you know,
Yep.
upside down, the
Okay.
same as right side up. But
Yep.
the ones, it's kind of tough.
Yeah,
as you can
because
see,
it kind of looks a little funny. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, some people do it. I won't label it as a rotator if it has a 1. Basically, I'll only label it as a rotator if it has 0s, 8s, 6s, and 9s. And I heard some people don't even like 8s, but I think 8s are fine. They look pretty similar.
Yeah.
So let me see here. Does anybody have any questions? Anyone at all? Even you guys, if you have any questions.
So in your bricks, do you normally get different Federal Reserves banks in that brick, or are they all the same usually?
What do you mean by that? Like, are you asking if I get uncirculated notes, or
Yeah,
are you
the
asking like the
uncirculated
block?
notes. Do you normally get like different Federal Reserve banks? So like,
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
They're not uncirculated usually. I've only received a few. I think I've received one uncirculated brick before. And then I've received like half of a brick, you know, a quarter of a brick. I've received a quarter of a strap uncirculated, stuff like that, and ones. The banks where I live, it's kind of more rural, small town. The banks aren't very big, so they actually don't have the ability to order uncirculated. I'd ask them, you know, because I wanted uncirculated notes because there's, you know, it's nice to potentially get the strap that has a solid in it, or the strap, you know, that has even 6 of a kinds, or like radars, stuff like that, or ladders. But the banks, I would ask them, and they say that they don't have the ability to order. They just get whatever they get, and they don't throw a fit. So
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
I think the closer you are to a Fed Reserve Bank, that might be your best shot at finding some of those key bricks and straps.
The $2 bills I got were all uncirculated and all in the same serial from Kansas City Federal, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
here there.
And I since I was getting so many circulated bricks, that actually allowed me to come up with an average of, like, as you're searching through a strap, on average, I found in my area the keep rate of stuff that's sellable was about 3%. So if I'm looking through a strap of like 100 singles, there was 3 things that I would find in that strap that I could sell. Of course, some straps, like I found some really good straps before. I think the best strap I ever looked through, it had like solid 5 of a kind leading zeros. Basically, it was a low serial number. I found a 2013 B star note. I found a binary. I found a radar. I found a really nice looking trinary, all in one strap. And then I also found a 4 of a kind leading zeros, low serial number. I was like, oh, this is the best strap I've ever looked through. At a lot of value, but much more than $100.
Hey, Sam, I'm going to be flashing up a few questions. I'm going to kind of go back and pull them out so you could answer them as they come across screen there for you.
So I see one from Yep.
Yeah, I've got a bunch starred in there too, Sean, just to let you know.
I had a question too, but after he answers this one. Yeah, you can answer this one.
It says, out of $500
cool.
search, how many do you average for aesthetic purposes? So that's a good question. So on 500 notes at that 3% keep rate, I will average, let's see here. So I would average keep about probably 15 notes. And in the YouTube video that I just did, I did a 500 note bill search. I kept 13. So it's pretty close to the average. You know, obviously sometimes it's going to be under, sometimes you're going to have wildly over, you know, keep rates. But out of the, like, let's just say 15 that I would find on average, the ones that are going to be aesthetic, like, for example, I guess aesthetic we could define as like repeating notes, repeating digits and digits that will go sequentially in order. Because I think, you know, since we've all been through school and we learn, you know, zeros first, you count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, I think that whenever we see notes like that, like if you had a note that was like 0, 1, 4, 7, 8, 9, 0, or I don't know if that was 9 digits or not, but if you had a note like that, I think that that would be, you know, more aesthetic than a note that had a, you know, those numbers in a different order. But I would say the notes that I keep that are aesthetic out of the 15 would probably be like 2 to 3. You know, more. I'll say 1 to 3. That's a better average, I would say. Normally, but it's kind of hard to say, you know, for sure, because I've never even really thought about it like that. I've never thought about narrowing down the percentages even more to like, okay, what's strictly fancy and what's strictly aesthetic. Because like, for example, so this note right here, this is 5 in a row 4s. This is cool because it's also in the front. You know, in a rows, whenever they're in the front or back, are more aesthetically pleasing than notes like here. This one's a 6 of a kind, but like, I mean, well, this one's not a really good example because it looks nice whenever it's in the middle too. Let me see if I have something else out here. Here, we'll use this 6 of a kind. This is 6 of a kind 7s.
Mm-hmm.
The note still looks aesthetically pleasing, but it would look even better if all these 7s were touching, and better yet, if all these 7s were in the front, and then even better yet, if all these 7s were in the front, and then immediately after it came the 6 and then the 0, because then not only would they all be touching and it's in the front, well, it would also kind of be in the sequential order, you know? But while I'm looking through notes, when I find something like this, my mind isn't actually thinking, well, that's super aesthetic. But whenever I'm listing it, it does. So that's why it's kind of hard for me to, I guess, give you an average of how many I keep that are aesthetic. But I'll just say, I guess probably like 1 to 3 notes out of the 15 that I'd keep out of searching 500 are probably aesthetic. So this next question, is the term broken ladder a made-up term just to get higher value? It's not. Well, I mean, it's not a made-up term. There are things as broken ladders, and they are more rare than a note that just has all unique digits. I can consistently sell a broken ladder for $20. I have people, like, they'll even sell same day sometimes, which is actually telling me that potentially it might even be too cheap. But it's not a made-up term. A broken ladder is whenever you basically have digits 0 to 7, 1 to 8, or 2 to 9 all in the same bill, scattered, you know, however. A broken ladder looks like, for example, if you had a ladder that was going 1 to 8 and the digits were like 1, 3, 2, 5, 4, 6, 7, 8, that note is a broken ladder, and that has about $20 in value from what I have seen in the market. Now, if you had that note compared to a note that was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 7, 6, that's a broken ladder too. But that note, I would say, would have a lot more value than the first one. Probably like $30 to $40 and potentially upwards, depending on the condition. So it's not a made-up term. So it says, how rare would a note with 8 8s be, knowing it's also upside down too? So are you asking a solid 8s? That note would be extremely rare. There's only 8 solids in a 96 million note run. That's one of the big ones. The things rarer than a solid would be a ladder, like a true ladder, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's only 6 true ladders. So those are more rare. And then also if you like consider serial number 1 to 9, I mean, but then there's 9 of those. But yeah, so those are extremely rare. And with the value, depending on condition, I'll tell you this. Let me see if it's still on eBay. It might not be, but there was a solid that sold for $15,000 on an auction. It was in terrible condition. It had creases all up and down the middle, and the picture was not even that good. And the guy listed it wrong as a well, it's not necessarily wrong. He called it a palindrome or a radar. He said this is a true palindrome. You can read it forwards and backwards, and it was all twos. And it had over 100 bids, and it sold for $15,000. So that gives you an idea of how rare something like that is. Now, but I will tell you this. If you were to have a note like that and list it on eBay, you have to understand that auction was, in a way, kind of a perfect storm, because that guy caught the attention of a man or a woman, whoever, had the pockets deep enough to pay 15 grand for that note. So I have a solid sevens note on eBay. It's up for $13,500 right now. I know that I am going to have to wait a very long time for the right buyer to come along to purchase that kind of note. Because with a note like that, you have to be extremely patient, because there are not as many people in the world that could buy that note as there are somebody who could buy a star note for $3 to $5, you know? So that note is extremely rare, and it is worth a lot of money if you were to have an 8 of kind 8s. So this one says, what about the 666 being a devil's note? Wouldn't that be collectible to some? Yeah, it would, but there are so many notes that have 666s in it. I didn't even calculate it because it's so unrare. It's extremely common. That is like, if you were to sell that $3, they're so common, extremely common. Some people would find that collectible, but it's like, it's just so common. You know, there's a lot of touching 666s.
So if you guys remember, we showed a solid last week on our show. We had a solid one.
All ones.
Yeah, and out of a brand new strap. So
and
really
it was
super
nice
good
and
condition.
crispy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I've also heard all 9s are actually the rarest.
Yeah, technically, because only
the
older notes have that.
Yeah.
So there's all kind of barriers being put up in front of you now. So now you have the average lifespan of a $1 bill, which I think is like 4.7 years. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, it's not long. The survival rate is really in the toilet with paper currency, and I think a lot of the higher serial numbers, because you said 9.6 million, a lot of the much higher runs are withheld by the BEP, because they do print all the way up to that solid 9s. They just don't circulate it.
They turn them into
a lot of those end up in their BEP store at some point.
Yep.
And I think the solid 9s end up in the Smithsonian or something like that. That's what I heard, but they have a pretty epic numismatic, I guess, collection / library.
Yeah, it's almost like a unicorn. If you see one, it's in a museum, taxidermied, you know, and it's the horn was also glued on. So they're really rare, but these ones are real, you know, the solid 9s. So yeah, those are extremely rare. There's a lot of things that you're fighting against, and like finding one in circulation, I don't know if it's even possible. It might be. There might be one sitting in a bank somewhere, and it probably won't be found in, you know, for another 5 years or something like that. But yeah, so this question says
collection.
Yeah.
Grandpa's collection.
Yeah, in the safe deposit box.
Yeah.
Under the mattress.
I had a friend from church that had Civil War money, and he kept it under his mattress. He lived in Las Vegas. And he had a friend that had a bank, and he's like, hey, man, aren't you concerned that somebody would, like, break into your house and steal that? It's like, I got a bank. I'll give you a safe deposit box. Like, come put it in here. And he didn't really want to do it at first. And the guy, you know, eventually convinced him, and someone robbed the bank and stole it.
Oh, my God.
He lost it. He lost the currency. If he would have kept it under his mattress, he would still have it.
So I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
So I'm sure in paper money, currency, there's probably a lot of purists like there are in coins,
Oh, yes,
myself
there are.
included. So what is your take on true birthday notes?
A true birthday note would be, so
Is it
that's
month,
so
day,
hard
year?
because
Is it
in America,
military? Is it, yeah. Is
in
it
America, we
what?
have our date system, and that's all we've ever known. But did you guys know that the Jewish people are on year like 5,000 something? Like they're not in 2023. They're in year 5,000 something. I forget what. They celebrate their new year. When is it? I think it's like in September, October, something like that. But like birthday notes to a Jewish person, you could have a note that says 1025 5,123. Like, that's my birthday.
Oh my gosh.
You're like, well, that's from the future.
Yeah, exactly. But then also you could have I'm not sure how, like, okay, I work at a resort also. And this woman was, I forget which country she was from, but she wasn't from America.
Yeah,
and when she was signing the date, it was like April something. She signed it April at the end. And I'm like, well, this is going to be confusing if something.
Well, military does it different too.
Yeah,
the military does it different too. So but
the
I do
people
see
that
we
are-
get a lot. We get a lot of people who, you know, they don't care what order it's. It's
and
got, you know, the birthday.
I will list
they'll put the 2-digit day, or it might even be a 1-digit day, and then the year with a 0, like kind of like separating the two, and then the month at the very. It's like, you know, someone had said, "Oh yeah, it's this date," and I have to like look at it for a while. I'm like, yeah, in a kind of strange, you know, made up fairy tale kind of way, it is, you know. But it's an interesting conversation when someone says, "Hey, I have a birthday note," and I'm like, okay, let's see how it's oriented. But
right, I see the argument. That's why I asked. I see the argument all the time, and the purists in the hobby will say, nope, it has to be month, day, year. And
the only problem with that, sorry, you finish.
No, you go ahead.
The only problem with that is that's an opinion, and it's also based off of how you grew up.
Right.
Because a purist in a different country says, no, it has to be day, month, year, you know?
Right.
So what I do, especially since America is like a melting pot, we have all kinds of different cultures, nationalities, you know, races over here in this country. So I just list them all. And
yeah, that's the way to do it, because otherwise it would be short-sighted to just cater to one market where there are other, you know, people from different countries, religions, and all that. They covet numerology more than we do. So it's like, well, why shorten ourselves by just concentrating on what we know, you know? Right. And especially in e-commerce, that's important. You got to be able to cater to everyone to maximize the potential.
And you know the thing about, sorry.
It's okay. I was just going to tell Kyle his question. Sam's going to tell you the perfect way to get in touch with him when he's all done here. So
yes. There's a question about binaries being rarer. They are rarer than like a trinary, or they're rarer than I think they're rarer than a 5 of a kind. But I don't know if they're statistically rarer than a 5 in a row 5 of a kind, depending on where it's oriented. But
so can you explain again real quick? So you said that for solids, there are 8 solids in a run of how many?
9.6 million per block.
9.6 million. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say there's 8 of them, that's because one solid is all 1s, and one solid is all 2s, and one solid is all 3s. So there's only one solid 8 in that entire out of those 8. Yeah.
And there's only one solid 7 too, and one solid 6 and 5 all the way down. But the solids, it's in a group. But like if we were to classify the solids, so the most valuable solids would probably be 1s, 7s, and 8s.
Yeah, which we had the 1s last week.
Yep. And then honestly, I
Kevin,
feel like
if you're listening, Kevin, you need to get in touch with Sam.
yeah, I can help you with your notes if you'd like to sell them, or I am starting Consignment if anyone is interested in that kind of stuff.
Who are you going through?
Who?
Are you doing it yourself? Or
Yeah,
are you going
myself.
through a company? Okay.
No, I'm doing it myself. If anyone wants to sell it, I'll put their notes on my store because I have a lot of customers that come every day and buy stuff, and but that we could always work something out if you guys are interested in doing consignment.
Is there such
But
thing as a year, and like, so you have like, let's say 1945 and then 1973 in a serial
are you talking
number.
about the series?
Yeah, like in
Yeah.
a serial number. So like you might have a year and another year. So they consider that like a birth and death note,
tombstone, things like that.
Yeah,
right?
so you're talking about like the double year notes.
Yeah.
Those notes, yeah, the double year notes do have value. I actually don't really list too many of those. Just because I should probably, honestly, but in the beginning, whenever I started this, I was listing those all the time. Those are extremely niche items. Super
That's
niche.
kind of, I found one the other day. I put it on my store, but I didn't put a very high price on it because I thought,
yeah, and that's how you have to do it. If you put a high price on that, you're going to be waiting 10 years and a day, and then maybe you'll sell it with the best offer. But it's like, those are almost as niche as you can get. The only thing more niche than that is trying to sell somebody their lunch pin, with an 8-digit note. I actually do look sometimes for my lunch pin, 590093.
Pin number.
It's funny.
Yeah, in case anybody's wondering, Sam is a dad, and
I have a girl. Yeah.
Yeah, not particularly old, and probably.
I was wondering what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Graco box. I'm like, what's he talking about? Graco box.
I have a pack and play back there.
Yeah, here's a good question for you.
Sharon McFly, yes, your note is worth something, and it's a $10 bill. I would say I would list that note for, so depending on condition, $60 to $100 on eBay.
What?
Buy it now listing.
Really?
Let me see if yes.
So many
it's 6 of a kind zeros, Adam.
Yep. Those zeros right there. Now, depending on the condition of it,
wow.
I said 60 to 100, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Depending on the condition, if it's in bad condition, you're getting 60 for it. Let me look some up. I have 6 of a kinds that sell for premium all the time. Let me look up in my history, my sold history.
Thanks everybody for being here. We appreciate you so much.
And while you're talking about that real quick, do you sell everything as a buy it now, or do you do any auctions?
Yes, I do not like auctions. And the reason I don't is because it's like this. Let's say you're going out on a fishing trip. If you could only leave your lure in the water for 7 minutes, do you think you'd be more likely to catch a fish if you could only leave it in there for 7 minutes, or if you could leave it in there until you caught a fish?
Good way to look at it.
So that's how I see that. I have tried auctions. Like I've listed some nice notes, and I'm like, okay, I know what this should sell for. Like I listed a note, low serial number, it had 5 zeros in the front, and I know I have sold those kinds of notes for $40 to $70. And whenever I did an auction, I think I sold it for like $25. And so I was really cutting myself short, I believe, with auctions.
Right.
So I don't do it. I do best offers though a lot. Stuff like that.
Hey, you do. I do notice, and I noticed this probably about a week ago, Sam. I have a feeling that you have like regular buyers that buy in like batches because you sell like 6, 8, 10 notes at a time, like all in one shot. Are those to the same individual, or do you sell like a high volume of them to a bunch of people?
It's this, yeah, same individual. That kind of stuff will be like the same individual. If you're seeing a batch like that. So here's, I'll share my screen real quick. I will show you an example of one note that I sold. Let me make sure. So I got to share the right. I have a whole bunch of tabs open. Let me X out all the other ones. Okay. Do you guys see this right here? So this note, this one sold. This one sold for, actually, it was $125. This is a 6 of a kind zeros. The reason that this one was so high was because it was also a star note, and it's a low serial number. But on the note like that ladies had, and also Kyle Peterson's asking, this is a similar note. He has a binary with a 6 of a kind. Those kind of notes, depending on the condition, you can start to get into this price range like this. You know, like the note 3,300, that one's really cool. You could get $100 for that to the right person. It depends on the condition of the note. I had a 6 of a kind sevens on a $5 bill that sold for like $80 or something, and he returned it because it had one crease in the middle of it.
Wow.
But then I sold it same day to another guy, so it didn't matter because, you know, the sevens go quick whenever it's like that. And also eBay, if it's sold once, eBay knows that note has validity, so they're going to promote it to sell it again, like really hard. So that's why it sold same day. So yeah, that 3,300, that would have quite a good premium, again, depending on condition. But even if it was in bad condition, you know, $50 and up, easy. You know, you get 50, 60, probably even $70. That's a really cool. It has zeros. If it was ones, if it was a true binary, you'd be like $200 or $300 right there. All right, so 5-3, 5-4, 3-4, 5-4. So that is a trinary. You have triple threes. I'm sorry, you have triple fives, triple fours, and threes. The first number, 5-3, 5-4, 3-4, 5-4, is not as cool as the second one you have, 50-60, 50-60. Because, wait, are these actually repeat? No, they're not. So the second one is a repeater, too. 50-60, 50-60. Not only is it a repeater, it's an alternator trinary repeater. So it has alternating zeros, okay? And it's a trinary, only 3 notes. And not only that, there's something, this is one of those aesthetic notes. There's something about zeros like that, like 50-60, 50-60, that actually gives it more of a premium than if it would be like 12-13, 12-13. It doesn't look as messy. This looks more clean. It looks more elegant, you know? It has just that aesthetically pleasing value to it. So on a note like 50-60, 50-60, you know, repeaters I have noticed are kind of hard to sell. But on a note like this, you could get $40 to $50 for it. Now, on that first trinary, to be honest, that's like a $5 note, maybe $3. It's like $3 to $6 on that trinary. Look at that.
You pointed out that it was a trinary right away, but you know, certain other eyes that aren't trained to looking at things like that will just see a jumbled mess of numbers.
Yeah, my eyes have basically become scanners because whenever I was doing all those notes, I was going through 100 in about 3 minutes. So I was just flipping through them really quick. So my eyes are pretty quick to pick up what it is. Okay, so Sam, $1 and $10 and some hundreds sell the best in terms of serial number collectors, correct? I would say that $1 are the best sellers. $2 is a group of $2 are special because you usually have dedicated people who love $2 bills. Like I have people asking me all the time, like I love $2 bills, you know, because we don't really see them out in circulation all the time. So they're asking me specifically for those, especially $2 star notes. But whenever you get into higher denominations, you are capping yourself in a way because eBay, number one, has fees. Their fees are about 13%. Now, that's with 0 promoted listings on your listing. If you add, let's say, the minimum you can have is 2% promoted listing on your item. If you do that now, your fees are about 15%. If you were to sell a $100 bill for $120, so let's run it through the calculator. 15% of that is $18. So right away, there goes all your profit. Because on eBay, whenever you're shipping notes that have $20 in value or more, you are not allowed to ship that note via the eBay standard shipping label. And so automatically your shipping is going to cost $3.50 or more. So on a $100 note, let's say it had 5 of a kind 5s or something like that, it would be difficult to find a buyer that could justify in their mind, you know, paying more than like $130 for that. Because like a 5 of a kind, it's tough, you know, to squeeze $30 of a face value over that. And then you have all these fees and shipping, and then you also are running the risk of it getting stolen in the mail, depending on how you ship it. There is ways to ship it more securely, because a $100 bill is more eye-catching if somebody was to see it, you know, like if you didn't package your thing properly and, you know, I don't know, something was to open or cut, or if you're sending it in an envelope, you know, and it's kind of transparent and you can see through it, you're running a risk of it getting stolen. You're running a lot of risks. So if you're going to sell higher denomination bills, it has to be really fancy. Like 6 of a kind or higher, and it has to be a nice 6 of a kind. You know, radars, yeah, because of the radars and like binaries and those main 8 kind of have like, they're like cemented into the fancy serial number Hall of Fame, if you will. But I think that, I mean, I guess your question was, though, was the even, you know, the 1, 10s, and 100s the best things to sell? Maybe, but I would say that whenever you're getting to those higher denominations, most people, I feel like, don't collect them because, number one, it holds up a lot of capital for the collector.
Mm-hmm.
If you're collecting $100 bills, you need really deep pockets. If you're going to have 10 of them, there's $1,000 sitting on your shelf. Whereas if you have 10 $1 bills, there's $10 sitting on your shelf displayed nice, you know? Right. So I would say the lower bills have better collectivity.
I have a real quick before this next, or after this next question, can we get to, can we have Sam talk about his Facebook and his Patreon and stuff, and then get to the emails, and then we can take, you know, more questions after?
Yeah.
Okay. Because
sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a ton of questions, and
they're pouring in.
Well, they are, and that's great. I love seeing that, and that's a great opportunity for Sam to talk about how they can connect and hook up with him better, and him talk about the Zoom meetings and things that are all involved in his Patreon, getting involved in that. So. Yeah.
Hey, Joey, we'll address that. That's a monster note, but we'll talk more about it at the tail end of the stream.
All right. So I remember that. I think it was 6 zeros and then 27. That note that you showed me, that question, that note is really cool because it's a low serial number. First of all, there was 5 zeros. I don't know if it was 4 or 5 zeros in front. I can't remember. But
2,700 at the end.
Okay, yeah. So wait, 47. Oh, so there was 4 zeros in front.
Yeah, 4 zeros in front, and then 27.
Yeah. So that note is a 6 of a kind zeros, and it is technically now in the low serial number range. It seems like today people are considering a low serial number to be 3 leading zeros and anything under that. That seems to be the low serial number. Like it can pass the ID check, if you will. 2 zeros in the front, that's not really that low. Because whenever there's 5 zeros in the front, you're basically saying that there's 99,999 notes and under that are considered low. And that makes sense because that's under 100,000. And whenever you're looking at the grand scope of 96 million, under 100,000 notes I can see why that's considered rare.
Right.
With 3 zeros in the front. But whenever you get the 2 zeros in the front, now you're in the... that's like 999,000. That's almost 1 million. It's like, yeah, that's, you know, I think that's more than 1% of all the notes. But anyways, I will talk about the the Patreon group. So all these questions that I've been answering, and I've been giving little nuggets of information. But if you guys want a more in-depth, basically schooling, if you will, on fancy serial numbers, collectible currency, and how to actually sell it and make profit off of all of your notes, then I would strongly suggest joining my Patreon group. So what this group is a community of numismatic sellers. Right now in the group, it's actually me and then the panel members here. I let them all in yesterday. So what this group is it's going to be a collection of people who are all striving towards one goal, and that goal is to sell all of these super cool notes that you guys are asking questions about, and do it successfully, and start, whether you want to do it, as a side hustle, just to kind of get some supplementary income, or something like that, or just if you've been collecting for so many years, and I think it's you think it's time to let go of some stuff. You've been holding on to, you have a collection of 1,000 notes or something like that. You want to start to sell them. This group is aimed towards equipping you with the knowledge that you need and the skills you need to make you a successful eBay seller. So there are 2 tiers. I don't know if I can show it here, but there is a, here we go. There is a entry level tier. It is $29.99 a month. That's about $1 a day. And what that grants you is access to the Zoom rooms and access to the Facebook group. And I'm actually going to throw one more perk in. I'm going to give everyone who joins access to the fancy serial number master list. Now, originally, I was going to have this for the professional assistance group only. But basically what this is this is a list of every single type of fancy serial number that you can sell. It has examples. It has how many of each are in a 96 million note run. And then it has the percentage chance of you finding one just by picking one note out of 96 million. This is an extremely comprehensive tool that is basically designed and aimed towards making your listing process more efficient and quicker, to basically give you an idea of how to learn to price things yourself, so that as you're out in the wild, you're bill searching, or you've just had a collection for all these years, you can say, okay, well, statistically, this note, the chances of finding it is 0.00001%, meaning there's probably only like 100 notes or something like that in a 96 million note run. And so that it's a very helpful tool, and I'm going to make it available to everybody who joins the group. So this tier, the membership tier, this is a very good tier. This is probably good for about like 90% of everybody who would want to join this group. There is going to be a lot of information with this package. Let me see if I can share this other screen as well. Share another screen. I'm going to share what the Facebook group looks like. So let me see if it's the right one. Okay, so this is the official Kingdom Currency eBay group. Basically, once you join, everybody who's in the group has access to post in the community feed, where you have, myself. I am in this group. This is not my last name. My last name is not King. I just did it because I was trying to make it Kingdom Currency, but it makes you put a real name. But anyways, so you have, help from myself, and then the panel members are in this group too. It's up to them if they want to answer questions or not. But basically, you're going to get access to this group of like-minded individuals who are going to be able to answer questions for you, whether they're eBay related, whether they are, currency related, whatever kind of questions you have, can be answered in this group. And you know, you have access to the Zoom room. And let me see if I can pull. Is it sharing this screen? Okay, no, I got to share the other screen now. The Zoom room is it's a 24-hour Zoom room. In the beginning of the group, there's not going to be that many people in it. But as this group grows, you can, no matter what time of day, join this group, the Zoom room. And whoever is in there, you can communicate with them and talk coin and currency. So with the Zoom room, there is a scheduled call system, if you will. Basically, let me show you the calendar. Okay. On Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, there will be a Zoom call that has group coaching. The time might change because if I have a lot of people from California, this may be kind of early for you guys. So I might change the time. But basically what this call will be, so it'll happen every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And for 30 minutes, I will teach everybody who's in the group, everybody who has the $29.99 a month and the $79.99 a month tier, eBay lessons. I will teach you guys stuff like, okay, guys, you know, one topic might be listing, title structures. Like, okay, today we're going to talk about eBay titles and why they're so important. And I'll give you information and, you know, facts about how you should list your currency items, because on eBay, the title is extremely important. There is so much that goes into a title, an eBay title for your listing. And if you get that title wrong, or you put some, you know, special characters in there, eBay is a search algorithm, and they're not going to know how to classify your item, and therefore they're going to hide it. And so you could have the coolest note ever, but if you have a horrible title, it won't sell because no one's going to be able to find it. So there's all kinds of information like that. And then every Tuesday and Thursday, we have fancy talk calls. And what this is basically, I will be talking about fancy serial numbers. I can answer questions like, hey, is this fancy? Is this note, you know, fancy? What's cool about this note? Why is that note cool? And that's what we'll be talking about for either 30 minutes or an hour. This time will probably change. And then also on Tuesday and Thursdays, we have appraisals with Sam. And that's when for 30 minutes straight, you guys can sit there and ask me, how much is this note worth? I have a note with this serial number on it. How much is this note worth? You know, stuff like that. And the other panel members here, I have given them the opportunity, if they want to in the future, we will be adding more calls than just this. So this group is going to go up in value tremendously information-wise. You know, we might have a coin call one day. You know, as we branch out into other stuff like that, we might have a, you know, a call talking about how to deal with banks, because I've had quite a bit of experience with that and getting banned from banks, you know, because there's certain things that you have to do and understand with the banking system that took me a very long time to figure out. Asking tellers about logistics and how Brinks works, how the delivery systems works with Brinks, you know, making sure that you're not eating where you dump, if you will, looking through the same notes over and over again. So there's a lot of information in this group. I wanted to start it because I wanted to teach other people how to sell notes like how I do. You know, there are some days where I get over 100 orders with notes, you know, and it all comes down to the fact that I've put in the work, testing, trial and error, learning how to make a good, you know, listing, learning the market, learning how you know, paper money is made, learning what's fancy, you know, studying statistically how these notes are, you know, ranking up against other notes in the fancy serial number family, if you will. So yeah, if you guys are interested, it is, let me share this screen real quick. And I'm going to copy this link actually and put it in the,
I'll put it in here for you. I've got it already ready.
Okay. Yes. The page. Yeah. So yeah, let me see what it is. Kingdom Currency. Oh, patreon.com/Kingdom Currency. So yeah, If you guys are interested, I would love to have you and teach you and start up this numismatic community where, you know, if you want to ask people about coins and join with people who are like-minded and who want to sell their currency items to make money and turn, you know, a $1 note into a $100 note or a $20 note or a $500 note, you know, depending on what you have, join this group and come along on the journey with us. So I'll talk about the second tier real quick because that was the first tier. I'll share the screen again real quick. The professional assistance tier. What this tier is it gives you direct access to myself, meaning I will give you a way to contact me directly. Now, of course, I still need to sleep, but what this will do is I'm also going to start a separate call with a separate Zoom password just for the people who are in this tier, and you will get one-on-one in-depth assistance. I will hold your hand and help you through whatever questions you have, setting up your eBay store. If you have really specific questions about listings, if you have 500 notes and you want me to appraise every single one of them, if you have the professional assistance tier, I will sit down with you and do it. If you get the professional assistance tier, that's what the extra benefit is compared to this first tier. It's basically you're getting myself. You know, it's not true 24-hour assistance because of course I have to sleep and stuff, but I am on my phone a lot and I do get notifications a lot, so I will get back to you pretty quick, and you know, we can sit down and have calls and stuff like that. So those are the two packages. I am going to move access to the fancy serial number master list to this tier, and so you will get access to that if you have this tier right here. But so that's my Patreon group. I would be, you know, thrilled if you guys would join. I would love to teach you guys. I like to talk about stuff like this and teach others. It's kind of a passion I have. I don't know if you guys can tell from this, but yeah, that's the group for you.
Awesome.
I posted your Patreon link a couple times in chat. I just posted it again, you guys. That's his Patreon link. You can't join. That's how you join the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Through the Patreon. So the Patreon, what did you call the Patreon group, Sean? His Facebook is not really don't think of it as a Facebook group.
Yeah,
the Facebook group is a perk as a result of joining the monthly subscription, which is through Patreon, including all the other perks, the concierge service, the master list, and everything, you know, like that.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly correct.
It's a package deal, and
yeah,
you know, you could say, you know, well, I'll try it out for a few months and get everything that I need to kind of kickstart things, and then, you know, it's up to you if you want to keep going or you got all the value that you wanted out of it. But I'll be involved. A few of the other panel members will be involved as well, and that's important because I'm phasing off of my consultations, which, by the way, has been fantastic. And I'm considering getting into something like this, and I'm gonna help out Sam in launching this. I'll be a part of it for now, you know, to be one of those people that you can have a consultation with through the monthly subscription. So, you know, that way you get more for your money rather than just one 45-minute session. You know, you get more again of that curated concierge level service where you have access to us.
And that this group will pay for itself very quickly, you know, because with a note like, for example, a note like this, you know, this solid 9s right here, you might have something like this, you know, in your collection at home, and you might throw it up on eBay, you know, auction style, and you might only get $5 out of it or $7. Whereas opposed to if you have the knowledge to equip yourself and you list it properly, well, now you can turn that $5 into $65 or $85. because a note like this, solid 6 in a row 9s is worth a lot more than $5. And so basically what I'm getting at is the group will pay for itself quite quickly. And the community that you're going to be a part of is going to be growing in value tremendously as people come into the group and we start to add more calls. And especially once we start to integrate coins into it as well, because coins is a whole different world. And that's where there's so much in coins, learning if you could take the knowledge that you learn from making a quality eBay listing and transfer it over to coins, because I'm sure a lot of you guys also have coins, this group will very quickly pay for itself. But yeah, I encourage you guys to join the Kingdom Currency Patreon group. And I will be definitely looking forward to working alongside some of you for sure.
I just sent a request on Facebook. So
okay.
Okay, well, if we don't get to these emails, we're going to be here till midnight.
Yeah.
And while we've got Sam, we're going to pick his brain on a couple of these too. So we added most of the currency that we added is kind of basic stuff that you guys are more likely to find and have questions about. So if you're wondering why we've added these, that's why. So, all right. So live.
And then for a lot of the other coin related stuff, that's something we'll add into next week's show. That one's going to be pretty action packed.
We have a couple coins in here tonight, but
yeah. So it'd be even more for next week. So right. Don't go anywhere.
And we still have the giveaway at the end too. So, all right. Live coin Q&A featuring a special guest panelist, Kingdom Currency. Love the logo, by the way, for April 17th, 2023. Okay, so we're going to let Sam read this one.
So from Daniel B. Hello, panel. I'm new at bill collecting. Wondering if this is of interest for your show. Thank you.
Just so you know, we usually go in like an order. So I just picked you, and we're going to just move to the left for people to read the questions.
You go right to left.
Okay.
We're making you work tonight.
All right. So we have a $100 star note that is extremely circulated. Now, on a note like this, the Series 2003A, honestly, just from looking at it, I can kind of tell that it is not rare. It's not a rare run. Can you guys still hear me? My Siri just went off. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think this note is a rare run just from looking at it, because usually how the rare runs work is if it's under 80,000, it might be rare, or if it's from the 3.2 million to like 4 million, usually it's like 3.2 to 3.45 or 3.6 or 3.8 or 4. But so this, I don't think it's a rare run. And then secondly, like I said, it's circulated. So on a note like this would be very hard to sell, to make your money out of it because of the condition. Now, it is a little bit older, 2003A. I would say if you're asking about value-wise, put it up for 150 and see what you can do. If you get a best offer, 130 or higher, accept it. If not, maybe 125, but you're basically getting to the point where you're only going to make a couple of dollars. These notes are great if you love collecting $100 star notes. If you like collecting them, congratulations for you. You can add that to your collection. But if you're trying to flip it to make a profit, you might have a hard time on this one right here.
Cool.
That's also just a teller stamp on there or some kind of stamp right there.
Yeah,
so that does not.
Yeah,
that does not make it more valuable. In case if you're wondering, and it's also not a printing error. I've had some people, show me teller stamps, think that they're printing errors. Those are also not printing errors.
Yeah, we get a lot of those. Yeah.
Part 2 from Daniel.
Okay.
Same question.
Am I reading this one?
No.
Well, Sean's supposed to, but you can go ahead.
Oh, well, I think it's the same. It's the same. It's the
same person. It's a different.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Let's go on to the next. Yeah.
All right. So now this one you're gonna be making more money really than the $100 bill. So for 2017, I don't think that this one's rare. I'm pretty sure on the 2017s the run is 3.2 million to like 3.6 or something. I had them memorized and on a little cheat sheet, but I'll look it up real quick for you just to make sure.
Amanda, can you take over the slides for a sec?
Yep.
Thanks, honey.
Yeah, just as a little observation, Sam, it looks like that last zero is like a slightly turned gas pump digit on the left side.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
It's minor and trivial, but you know, people find stuff like that. And
so on the 2017s, there are no rare B run like Star Notes. There's no rare run, so like there's no sheets. I think it was all packs. So on this note, it is, you know, as we were talking about earlier, it is a low serial number because there's 3 zeros in the front. So on a note like this, with the circulated condition and even with the gas pump, I would list it for anywhere from $5 to $8. And I would expect to get $5 to $8. You know, and I probably listed at 8 and accept best offer from 6 to 7 on this one. It's a cool one, you know, it's a lower serial number on that because these only go to 3.2 million. It said on the My Currency collection. So that's a cool one right there. That one, honestly, see that has a better return on investment than the 100 does.
Yeah, because they don't have to pay as much to start out with.
Yep. And also you can ship it for 60 cents securely with tracking, which is extremely important to know.
Right. And there's the next one.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question on that. Has that helped you quite a bit? So
yes. I have that shipping, the 60 cents eBay standard label shipping is tremendous for selling $1 bills. If we had to pay $4 for shipping, then we wouldn't be able to do this.
So next one from Daniel B. It's another $100. Whoops.
All right. So on a note like this one has no extra value. It has, you know, triple fives, and you could say it has 4 of a kind 5s and pair 9s, but it is not cool enough to have basically nobody's going to buy it from you. And if they did, you'd be losing money on it because the price that you'd have to put this would be well below the threshold of profit, because the fee that eBay would take in pair with the shipping cost would be putting you in the hole by like $10 probably. Even if the 4 on the end was a 5 and it was a Trinary, it still wouldn't be worth it to sell as a $100 bill. So if you like it, it's great for you. You can keep it. But if you're thinking about selling it, I would not. You'd be actually losing money on this kind of note.
Yeah,
all right. This one's a little cooler. This is a 5-digit run, or a ladder. So a ladder run of 5 digits. It's ascending. And this one's cool because it starts with 1 in the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This kind of note, it's on a 5, which is good. If this was to be on a 10, we'd start to get into the difficult territory. Because it's on a 5, I would say you could sell this note for potentially anywhere from $12 to $19 or $20, $12 to $20. It's a cool one. That's a cool one.
That's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So what's kind of like a criteria to where you decide, okay, this is a $12 note instead of one that's toward that top end of the, I guess, range?
Experience in selling it in the past. Now this one is actually basically, but the main criteria is the condition. That's why I give a range. If it's in horrible condition, you know, it's going to be $12. And even if it's in horrible condition. If you're getting this from face value, I would even accept an offer for 11 because you are making money from selling money. Sometimes it's good to take a step back and think like, okay, I got this note for $1 and somebody's offering me 50 for it. It's good to take, accept offers like that. But the reason I'm giving a range is because of past experience with selling these notes, listing them low. Basically, what I would do is I'd sell a note and I'd keep increasing the price until it wouldn't sell for an extremely long time. And that's how I kind of got a range figured out, is through trial and error. Listing it, okay, if it sells quick, increase the price, find another one, list it again. If it's still selling quick, that probably means that, like, if you sell something same day, either, well, I guess it depends on if you're new or not, because either you just have people who are browsing your store who are looking for items like that, or if it's not that, then the item is priced too low.
Cool.
Don't forget, you guys in chat, that Sam has a YouTube channel. So if you're not getting if you don't get your answers tonight, and you're undecided about joining the Patreon, go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Pick his brains there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could show your support in other ways, and probably get the answers you need on a few of these, because it's a very wide, broad subject, and hour and a half isn't nearly enough time to cover everything.
Yeah. And even if all you do is YouTube, if you don't want to learn the stuff yourself, again, like I said, I can sell the items for you. I'll drop my email. I have a Kingdom Currency email that I'll give you guys, because I know somebody was asking earlier the best way to contact me. Let me get that email real quick.
I love that everybody in chat is asking such great questions and seems really, really interested in this.
Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste. So I sent you guys my email. It's officialkingdomcurrency@gmail.com. That is my email. If you guys have questions, you can email me. I will be a little limited on what I can share. Like small questions, little questions I can answer, but I have to be a little limited since I am offering the group,
Right. So that's
got
a
it
new
back
one.
and change.
Yeah.
What percentage are you thinking on the consigning that you would take?
So it would be probably like 20 to 25% of the profit. So if you have the note for 20 and it sells for 30, I'm not going to take 25% of 30. I'm going to take 25% of whatever is left after the fees and the original investment. So the original investment's going back to the person who had the bill, of course, and we would just be splitting the profit. So I'm thinking probably 20 to 25%.
Okay.
So this one's a broken ladder.
Yep, this is a broken ladder right here. So I'll give you this information that I have on broken ladders. On $1 bills, broken ladders are a solid $20 sale, believe it or not. I have people, and they sell kind of quickly too. That's on $1 bills. Now on a $20 bill, probably I don't know if you'll be able to get $40 out of it, but 30 to 35, and you could try for 40. You could try making $20 on it again. But yeah, that's what I would say probably with broken ladders. On the lower denominations, they're great. On a 20 like this, yeah, I would list it as a buy it now. Don't list it as an auction, because you're not going to be giving enough time for the listing to marinate on eBay, if you will. You really want to let it sit and maybe even put a little bit of promoted listings on there, have a quality title, know how to structure it. And as people are coming through and they look at this, you'll get a sale eventually, It's not in terrible condition either. I mean, there's some folds on it and little bends, but it's not in horrible condition. That might be a rip right up there on top of Andrew Jackson's head. I'm not sure. It might just be a lighting thing, but
yeah, I can't tell either.
Yeah, if that's a rip, that might denote a little bit from it. But yeah, it'd be tough to get 40 out of this one, but it does definitely have more than face value tied to that right there.
Cool.
Oh man,
It's
a coin.
Are we going from you, Paula?
No, Shannon, go ahead.
All right then. 2011 WDDO002 Best of Variety from Stray. Hi everyone. I thought it was about time to submit another fly poo shield sent for Paula. These really should have an FS number. Some of the shield DDOs are pretty dramatic. There are just so many to find. I have become a little addicted to hunting for them. And yes,
so I looked at this one, and it is not fly poop. Sam, I don't know if you've ever heard the term pick and fly poop out of the pepper. I use that a lot on like minor things, so that's what he's referring to when he says fly poo. Because I'm like,
yeah, I've never heard of that before. Wow, look at that.
This is not a minor. This is not a fly poo. This is actually quite a nice doubled dye.
Is it the Liberty that's doubled there? Or?
It's more the date. So
the date.
Right
yeah.
So you can
see. Is there a comparison? Is that two pictures or is that just one?
No, this is one picture. And just so it's a 2011, and one of the big pickups on this is the 0, and it's not supposed to. So the center of it there's not supposed to look like an eyeball. It's supposed to be straight up and down oval.
Huh, that is so minor. Wow.
And see the 2, how thick the 2 is at the top. And at the bottom, if you see it, the normal 2011, I mean, you can see it in the motto too, certain areas, but mostly in the date.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really tough.
It is tough. They do get tough. They do get tough to pick up, but
wow.
But I think this is
it's an acquired taste for sure. I mean, compared to currency, it's like, oh yeah, you could just examine it with your naked eyeballs, but with coins, coins is a completely different breed of numismatics.
Yeah, cat's eye. And there's 9 different classes of double dyes too, Sam. So, and they all look different.
Wow.
I told you, it's a rabbit hole. It's a deep hole.
I'll read this one. 1996 P nickel strike through from Daniel. Hello, I am contacting you about a strike through error that I found in a 96 P mint set. I purchased it online, and the picture doesn't match what I was given, so I didn't know what I would receive. Can you confirm that it is an error?
Probably a listing that had multiples of the mint set. That's a nice set.
Oh, you can see it from there.
Yeah, definitely a strike through.
Okay.
Very nice. That's huge.
How much is something like that worth right there?
So I would leave that in the mint set and sell it sell the mint set with an error. Some people are different. They might take it out.
10
maybe
to 20.
Yeah, $10 to $20. I mean, they're not huge, and they can be. Now they can be worth a lot. It goes back to the same thing you were talking about with eye appeal. It's all about eye appeal, placement,
placement.
Position.
So I guess would it be better if Monticello looked like it had a meteor strike on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Tuskegee quarter,
Mm-hmm.
Where it has flames coming out of the building.
Or better yet, that meteor crashing into the dome of Monticello or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, it's
What's
placement.
that one?
Everything.
Independence Day.
You don't, even though
Exactly.
these are, you know, business strike coins, so they're not proof coins. There's a little bit of special handling, but not much with these. It still is cool that it's in a mint set, because anytime you find errors that are still sealed in the mint set, it adds value to that mint set.
Right.
So
And you
I
leave
would
it in
keep it
there,
in the
and
mint set.
yeah, leave it in there. And if you were ever to get rid of it, sell the whole set.
Mhm.
I just want to say real quick.
Webster, if you know me, you know I love these errors, so I think it's a very cool find. And you were lucky that you got the one that had the error in it.
That's right.
I want to let you guys know I got an email from someone asking a coin question. I will let you guys know my expertise is mainly in currency, paper money. I would not say I'm qualified to answer, you know, at this point in time, coin questions, you know, stuff about value. I couldn't
didn't even think
accurately,
about that.
yeah, help you guys with that, because I got a question about value on a dime here.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that, to even mention them just to send currency questions. So if you get anything like that, Sam, I put our email in the private chat. You just forward it to us.
Okay.
Unless you can answer it. It may be a question that you can answer.
Yeah. There might be a couple, but on this one, I'm just going to go ahead and forward
we
it to you
typically
guys.
don't give values. We kind of stray away from that because we are looking at photos.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to grade a coin from a photo accurately. Sometimes you can, like this picture is fantastic. We probably could give a pretty accurate grade on this coin. But with errors, especially errors, value can be so subjective, you know? There's so many factors that go with it. And sometimes it's finding the right buyer, like you said, you know? So
yeah. Exactly correct.
So that's close-ups of the strike through.
Kind of
And
looks like
that's
a rule.
And that's it for our coin questions for tonight. So that was quick, and we'll probably, if you want, to give about 5 more minutes of questions for Sam in the chat. If you guys have more questions, just make them simple ones and quick if you can, so we can do the giveaway, because it's kind of getting late. Definitely for you.
We still have a few from the beginning. If you want to go over any of
yeah, sure. If they're still here.
I mean, yeah, there's a few.
And Sam's got a little one, probably needs to get to sleep. You use Central Time, Sam?
Yep.
So I could just say this, Sam. Do you have any knowledge on foreign currencies, or you just do U.S.?
Mostly U.S. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Do you have a list? Do you keep a list of your serial numbers by any chance? Like if someone had a question on a birthday type note, would you know if you could look it up? Or
yeah. I could probably answer a question on that.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. Some of these have been kind of answered. Oh, here's a question that I kind of had too. Do you collect, or do you just deal and sell everything that you find?
For me, having it once is enough. So if I find it, I think the ability to say, yeah, I had a solid 7s, or I had a solid 3s, you know, that's enough. Especially with the time it takes to, because I have so many of, you know, similar, the same.
Right.
So I don't have anything that I am keeping just for myself. I do this mainly for selling. But yet for me, the owning it once is enough, like collecting wise.
Thank you, Stephen. God bless you, my friend. Thank you for coming, and
Night, Stephen.
Most generous donation. Thank you very much.
Holy Grail find. So I'll say this: every single time I find the Series 2013 B duplicate, now this is not my Holy Grail, but every time I find one of those, I always say, "Oh, big money," because those are like an easy $50 to $125. The duplicate Series star notes. But the Holy Grail find would it's gonna be the solid 7s, and it's gonna be the big ones like that. I like finding true binaries. Those are always really fun. Kind of gets you jumping up and down because those are extremely rare too. There's only 256 of those per run, and those are worth a couple $100. But yeah, that's probably what I'd say to that.
So Snoopy Doo, who's been in our chat, is the person that we talked to about the 2013 B series because he's got the huge collection. We were telling you about him, and he was asking if you had any, but I think you sell them all, right?
Yeah, but I probably have like 40 left, I think.
Okay, cool. But
I have one that's.
Are they all up for sale?
This one is not yet.
Nice.
Yeah, that one looks to be in pretty nice shape.
It's kind of rough. I have some that are in really nice shape though. Yeah. I think the camera. Also, I was pulling it apart like this, so it makes it look a little better. But
if you go back in our videos on our live stream, Sam, you'll find well, Shannon did a video on the 2013 B, but you'll find that the stream where we actually had him on the show, talking about that. So
yeah,
and he's got a lot of information.
A lot of information, yeah. So
yeah,
that was a lot of fun. So, well, I think we should get in our giveaway and getting done.
Let's do it.
You're at a loss for words, aren't you?
I'm at a loss for words. Yeah, so we're going to be giving away a ANA sponsored gold membership. Can you give him my contact? Sure, we can. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Snoopy Doo. Well, sure, we will. We will be giving away an ANA sponsored gold membership. Come on, Paula, spit it out. I just got done eating bacon. That's why I can't talk right now. I'm still licking the bacon grease off my lips.
I could smell it from all the way down here.
I'm telling you, it's good stuff, man.
It's funny.
Okay, so I'm going to share this somewhere. There we go. And there is our keyword for the night. So start putting that in, you guys. It doesn't have to be capitalized. You really only need to put it in once. You don't have to put it in 50 million times. If you want to put it in twice, just make sure you got it in there. That's good. But thank you, everybody, for being here. And Sam, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. I learned a ton tonight.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
We do get a lot of not a lot, but we're getting more currency questions. And
yeah, it's been ramping up here.
Yeah. I mean, they're fun to find. I just typically can't ever answer them. We've had a few really nice error notes and different things, so it's fun to see those. And you guys in chat, consider joining Sam's Patreon. I think it's going to take off. It's like $1 a day. So consider that, especially if you're interested in selling, not just collecting, but selling. We've told you guys a million times that we're here to educate you about everything in the hobby. And for many of you, the interest factor is in becoming a seller, and Sam can help you become a good seller. We have 54 comments. We got it. How many people are in chat? They probably all left.
98.
Oh, we still have 98? Come on, you guys, get in that giveaway. Well, some of them probably. And if you already have an ANA membership, you can gift this. If you win and you already have an ANA membership, consider gifting it to a youth or your neighbor or your spouse or somebody. Don't not enter because you already have a membership. You just need to let us know that the information you give us will have to be the information for the person that you gift it to. So Yeah, Doug, if you have memberships, you can gift it. Gift it to a friend. Gift it to somebody else you know on YouTube. Absolutely. Don't not enter just because you already have one.
Sure, Mark.
25 need to sell them. Maybe it's time. That's right, Mark.
Yeah,
No
that's
time
right,
is
Eric.
present. Go, Sean. What?
No, Eric said, okay, you talked me into it.
Seriously. And we're
Yeah.
going to be helping on that page too. So if you have coin questions, I'm going to go in and I'll help in the chat and stuff like that. And I told Sam that I'm obviously not going to be like charging anything, or my gift to Sam for allowing me to be on his page will be helping out with the coin stuff. So we'll probably be doing some Zoom stuff with him too.
And I really appreciate that a lot. It's a big blessing.
Absolutely. Just dropped my phone on my face. Oh no, Jen. Jen, why were you holding? Were you taking a selfie? Jen, you shouldn't be taking a selfie while you're
Well,
in
she must
chat.
be laying down.
It's kind of like the thing you would do laying down in bed, just kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, you know.
And then you fall asleep and it falls on
Yeah,
your
you
face.
doze and
I've never had that.
I've never done that.
You're talented, Jen. All right, you guys, I'm going to draw this. Good luck to everybody. Larry, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who sent the
Yes.
super chats tonight. Thank you so much for your support. All right, here we go. Good luck, everybody. 3, 2, 1. Cindelush?
that is funny.
I know her.
Rigged.
Cindy, congratulations, my sweet friend. Cindy has been around for a long time. She is one of the OGs. Whatever that. I don't know what I think OG is like an abbreviation for original, but apparently it means something else to other people. I don't know.
Old and good.
What happened, Cindy?
Congratulations.
Congratulations, everybody.
And
Everybody
Congratulations, Cindy. It's all yours. She's like, what's all mine?
That's right. Congratulations.
You know what? You gotta send it to the
Sam.
email.
Huh?
She knows. Send it to the email.
Yeah,
right?
send us an email, Cindy.
does she know
Take
our
a
email?
minute to thank Sam, you guys, in chat. I hope you guys learned something. I know I did.
Yeah. Thanks for all the information, Sam. It was great.
Yeah, no problem. It's fun. It's fun to help people and teach people about this stuff, and it's becoming definitely a huge passion of mine, the teaching aspect too. So I appreciate you guys even letting me on.
Sure.
Oh, it's our pleasure, and we'll continue
it's awesome.
to
Thanks, man.
support you and promote you too, for sure.
Thank you.
Anytime we get somebody who wants to educate, we're all about that. So for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Well,
everybody, if we're done, we can say good night.
good night, John Boy.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for coming and hanging out with us.
Don't leave, Sam.
Okay.